what's up? This is A-trak, and you're watching Rehearsal Space.
They hear the bass and they say, whoa. They hear the bass and they say, whoa. They hear the bass and they say, whoa. And then they get down on the floor.
I started DJing, really just scratching records when I was 13. I would catch, my brother and his friends coming home from school, kind of like grabbing a record, putting it on my dad's record player, trying to scratch a bit, doesn't work, the needle skips. I tried it one day and found out that I kind of had a knack for it. And then kind of going from there, just making it into more of a real hobby and starting to practice every day. After about a year and a half or so, I felt comfortable with what I was able to do, and me and my brother had a talk about it, and he was like, man, you should probably try and enter one of these DJ battles.
My style is the best, and so I challenge you.
The DMC is the most established of the couple of different DJ battles that exist. And I did the Montreal elimination and won it, and then it took me to the Canadian finals, which were a few months later. And that took me straight to the World Finals a few weeks later.
Who do you have who could possibly beat me?
And the 1997 Technics DMC World Champion is DJ A-trak.
Thinking back now, it's funny. Like, the guy that was in second place was 30 and had like 4 kids. My voice hadn't even changed yet. I was like, hey, nice to meet you.
Get down on the floor.
When I came out doing DJ battles, it was the explosion of turntablism. When that scene died down, what I really wanted to do was to figure out a way to stay relevant with whatever music was new and interesting at that time. I DJ'd the club circuit and festivals and stuff like that for a little while, but I was really striving to find some sort of platform that could bring me even more in the public eye. Kanye came out with his first album, and right in time for his first big tour with Usher, he spotted me at a record shop in London and hired me to come on tour with him. Doing every gig with Kanye, whether it be the Grammys or MTV Awards, that gave me a lot of visibility. Even when I got that gig, it became even more of a concern for me to push my own agenda as an artist at the same time.
And when he played the song, if y'all like it, y'all gotta scream so loud. When the music come on, I can't even hear it. So, let's try this.
I wouldn't go from being like this world champion DJ who could stand on his own 2 feet as an artist to just suddenly just being Kanye's guy. I wanted to be this world champion DJ who also DJs for Kanye West and who's also doing this stuff now. And this stuff became production, and that's when I really got into producing more. Soon after, started my label and everything like that. And I think that all those things combined gave me the platform that I'm on now. My style of music in the last few years has been kind of like a marriage between electronic music, electro, house, whatever, and hip-hop still. I think where that comes from is just me being originally a hip-hop guy for a long time, a hip-hop DJ, a hip-hop producer. Then a few years ago in my DJ sets, I started playing some little club edits of faster versions of a rap record mixed with maybe an old school electro record mixed with maybe a dance hall record that's at the same time. As that went on, I got more and more into electronic music. As I was making that transition, it started getting reflected in the tracks that I was making too, because at first I wanted to make hip-hop records that had kind of a fresh new sound to them. It's not completely invented. Of course, if you listen to productions by Timbaland or Outkast or the Neptunes or Swizz Beatz or any of those guys, that's what they've been doing for a while also. But me being a DJ and going a little bit deeper maybe with the knowledge of some of those newer electronic music references, I think I could bring my own twist to it. The creative process could start in a lot of different ways. I mean, usually I'll be thinking about it for a little while before I even sit down, hopefully. So sometimes I might have a type of drum pattern that I want to do, or a type of bass line. Other times I could just be playing around with the presets and find a sound that just speaks to me, and just by twiddling around, come up with some sort of melody. Like, oh, this is a cool sound. And then add drums to it, and then there's the demo. And then from there, listening to it again and be like, okay, how do I polish this up to make it really, where it needs to be? I do all my production now on Logic. Certain programs are really good for audio, for tracking, for mixing, just for when you just have audio tracks. And certain programs are really good for running synths and keyboards and stuff. But there's not that many that can balance it all really easily. And I think that's a great strength for Logic. Even just launching a new track, I don't need to enable MIDI and route this to that. So everything is really right there. Open an instrument track, put my my plugin or my synth on it, and it's ready to go. When you have kind of an impression of an idea in your head, and it's not even completely defined yet, but you want to be able to kind of launch something and crystallize it, I find that in Logic, there's nothing that stops that process. That's the most frustrating thing, is when you're onto something and you want to just make it come to life, and then you hit some sort of wall, like, wait, how do I route this to that, or whatever. I'm always thinking about my next goal, so it's very rare that I sit back and think about where I'm at now. Later in the year, I'm going to start working on an album. So an A-trak album is kind of like one of the big horizons for me. Once that's done, there's going to be another horizon.